B-Roll Brothers podcast. This is ABC DVD, an alphabetic journey through a logical DVD collection that only follows one rule of robotics. I'm Noah.
I'm Josh.
And this is iRobot.
Robot.
This is not a review. There will be spoilers. We're just going to talk about it. Yada, yada, yada. Rules are over.
Yes.
So this is a 2004 movie directed by Alex Proyas, whose other things include Dark City and The Crow.
I do like Dark City.
And I like Crow, actually. Yeah, I mean, Crow is one of those quintessential 90s movies that everyone goes like, yeah, no, that's good. Mm-hmm. The writers are Jeff Vintar, who wrote The Hot Zone and Final Fantasy The Spirit. Akiva Goldsman, who is a writer for A Beautiful Mind, Batman and Robin, and Cinderella Man.
Okay.
And what I bumped on, suggested by Isaac Asimov.
Yeah, I saw that at the end credits of... it wasn't based on an Isaac Asimov book. It was just suggested by.
And it's like, I understand that there's several short stories here, but it's like, wouldn't it be like based on the short stories of Isaac Asimov?
Well, I don't think there's a direct iRobot short story from Isaac Asimov. This is playing off of his 3 Laws of Robotics, which a lot of things take from. And he did play with a lot of robots in his short stories.
Would it be inspired by?
I guess,
it's the suggested by like Isaac Asimov popped in like, hey guys, I got an idea for a movie, and then he left.
Like, yeah, he died, and then one of the dedications, like, okay, 2004, there's going to be this movie called iRobot, starring Will Smith. You got to go see it. I suggest it highly.
So there's that. It stars Will Smith, and we're going to play that game.
Okay.
What is Will Smith known for, Josh?
Okay, not kind of television.
Yes.
Independence Day?
Yep.
This?
Yes.
And I don't know, Wild Wild West?
No, I'm sorry. We were looking for Men in Black and
Men in Black.
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend. I thought maybe Pursuit of Happiness might have been in there, but okay.
Bridget Moynahan, who was in Battle for L.A. and The Sum of All Fears. Bruce Greenwood, who is the evil CEO. He is Pike in the Star Trek movies and JFK in 13 Days, which is one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm. One of the 4 Pikes, at least, that I can think of offhand.
Alan Tudyk voices the robot. He was in Rogue One as a robot.
Yes.
Firefly and A Knight's Tale.
Yeah, Knight's Tale. I could also think of 28 Days.
Well, I mean, he's also a voice actor in a lot of Disney.
Oh, yeah,
things.
No, he's Disney's good luck charm now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And returning to the podcast is James Cromwell.
We do love James Cromwell, but you're not going to sing this time, are you?
No.
Okay,
we only get that once.
Okay.
So, announcer voice.
Okay.
The summary. In 2035, highly intelligent robots fill public service positions throughout the world, operate under the 3 rules to keep humans safe. Despite his dark history with robotics, Detective Del Spooner, Will Smith, investigates the alleged suicide of U.S. robotics founder Alfred Lanning, James Cromwell, and believes that human-like robot Alan Tudyk murdered him. With the help of robot expert Bridget Moynahan, Spooner discovers a conspiracy that may enslave the human race.
His first name is Del.
I know. It's like, I don't think anyone called him Del.
We just watched it. They said Detective Spooner and Spooner. Okay, dude, you're a Del.
You're a Del. You're getting a Del.
Yeah, that's an old reference.
So
yeah, we start with the opening with the 3 Laws of Robotics and Isaac Asimov. This is his famous tier of safety that he based a lot of his short stories on. And it's basically to show that, hey, if we put these in robots, it should protect us. And then he liked to tell stories of how it wouldn't.
Exactly. And I think it is interesting that this movie, though in the future,
yes,
is more of a noir detective film than it is an action sci-fi film.
Yeah, I wrote down that this feels very much like a Dashiell Hammett novel or very much like the movie Chinatown.
And I said it reminded me of Rising Sun, where you have a corporation doing something shady and you've got the hard-boiled detectives coming in to, rattle the cages.
Yeah.
Also, things I want to kind of point out is like this takes place in 2035 Chicago. This was 30 years in the future from the movie. It is now about 13 years from us. We can say how many of these things have happened and how many do we think will happen.
Yeah.
So I will be kind of dinging in on that. And also, It's the first movie that I've seen that has some egregious product placement.
Oh yeah, this is flashing on the screen kind of product placement.
So I'm going to point that out too because I think it's funny.
Oh, it is hilarious.
So yes, we went through the laws of robotics. There is obviously a flashback scene that comes out throughout the movie
with water
and drowning sounds.
And then we get Detective Spooner, Will Smith, being woken up by the classic alarm sound. Mm-hmm. Now I question of, in the future, are we going to have this still annoying alarm? But we also know, we learn later on, that Will Smith's character is kind of living in the past, does not like new technology. He's not a Luddite, but he distrusts technology.
Yeah, I like to think that the alarm sound was like, no, we got it right the first time. This is the alarm sound for all eternity.
It's very much like we'll conquer Mars. We'll get faster than light travel. The alarm sound will be the same, and the save icon will still be a floppy disk.
Floppy disk, yes. We are greeted by a FedEx robot with the number 42, which I'm going to say is still the answer to life, the universe, and everything.
Everyone loves Douglas Adams,
but it's like FedEx somehow is on time in the future.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's not going to happen.
And then we get with that is his morning routine, and I shower without a curtain or a door. This is not at all.
These are showers of the future. The water is not going to get on.
Yeah, this is not eye candy for anyone. But he gets something in that package.
Yes, he gets some Converse,
but not any Converse.
What kind of Converse?
It's the 2004 Converse.
I bet those sold back then.
I know.
FedEx and Converse.
This is the most egregious of all the product placements of the classic 2004 Converse.
Right, and then he drives off to work in his Audi. I'm like, wow, cops get Audis in the future.
Yeah, and talking about his wardrobe, this I bumped on even when I saw it in the theaters. You can have your hat on your ears or off your ears, half and half. Does not work for me. One ear on, one ear off, and noise is just don't do that.
You sound like I want to fix that.
I just want to fix it every scene.
But no, we are setting him up. But he is the grizzled, distrusting detective. He comes into the office. He's got the tired old chief that is like, I really can't put up with you, but I like you because you do good work. Mm-hmm. But it's like, and I was wondering, because obviously I'm going to jump ahead that he had this incident. Mm-hmm. And now he's back in the office, and they're like, did you need more time off? Like, are they related, or was he taking time off for something else?
I know, yeah.
Because it's like, I feel like that took place way, in the past, because guys, the thing was like, they never mentioned, like, why you were having to take more time off.
Yeah.
Like, did you do something else that was really bad?
Yeah. We also get to see what I love, all sci-fi movies try to do, future car concepts and future garages. This one showing automated cars and the garages that kind of look like vending machines, which do kind of exist.
But there was the Carvana thing, but it's like, yes, these are self-driving cars that kind of have the pod shape, which Teslas are kind of like this. Yeah. So yeah, I guess we're moving in that direction.
Yep. And then we get the inciting incident of James Cromwell's suicide, or alleged suicide, with his hologram suicide note.
Yes, which, is a kind of interesting thing. Is like you're having to ask the right questions. It's like talking to an 8-ball.
Yeah, or if anyone knows any kind of original programming language, or if you played the original King's Quest, if you don't type in the right question, it doesn't understand you.
Exactly. And so you've thrust this detective into this scene, in a corporation with a giant evil robot statue in there.
Yeah.
There's like no foreshadowing, but his role is now, I'm going to be, this catalyst, and what everyone's like, no, this is just a suicide. We want to sweep it under the rugs because we have a big debut of new robots, but Will Smith is definitely, he gets under people's skin. He definitely wants to rattle cages, and that's his detective mode.
And he's opposite of Bruce Greenwood as Lawrence Robertson, the CEO of the N-Corp, or the robot corporation. And Bruce Greenwood is like the classic businessman bad guy.
Yeah.
If you think of the smarmy white guy who owns everything, he just epitomizes it.
But he's also teamed up with Dr. Calvin by Miss Moynahan, but she is a type A personality. She is just shy of being a robot herself in the beginning, I don't understand your joke.
Yeah, I know. And there are some things that I bumped on, like where she, being tech savvy and not that far in the future, should know what a pause button looks like when the CD doesn't play. But we also get introduced since we warn about spoilers, the actual bad guy in this movie. We get the establishment of Vicky, the AI. And I don't, for those of you who play video games, I got a System Shock vibe of Shodan, the bad guy in that. It's the same kind of look of face of this computer program that's presented as a woman. This, I have to believe, is an influence for this movie.
I believe it. But, we're going through his, for the doctor's office, looking for clues. We get, explain the 3 laws to me like I'm a dummy audience member.
Yeah, this is a reoccurring thing of we will say something super technical and someone, mainly Will Smith, will give a look and it's like, just dumb it down for me.
This is for anyone in the audience who didn't want to read those captions in the beginning.
Yeah.
But we get the robot getaway. He's hiding in plain sight, kind of thing.
Yep,
Sonny's. And it is the robot is genuinely creepy. It crosses what's called the uncanny valley, where it's like you look human, but you don't look right.
Yeah, something's wrong. And I appreciated when he jumped out the window to escape. He lands on the ground and a crack leads right to a mural of the 3 laws of robotics, foreshadowing the flaw of the 3 laws of robotics that will be the crux of this movie.
Right. And I also liked it when he's hiding in the warehouse amongst all the other robots. It is that hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
And Will Smith is in a kind of disturbing way because you do start to kind of humanize things. Like, he's just like, I'm going to shoot one of these things. And you're like, oh, that's rough.
And I say, like, these robots are, pre-programming, so they just say, one of us doesn't belong. I'm going, can you just point to the one that doesn't belong, and then they'll all just point. But
yeah, we're having fun here.
And I also had at this chase sequence a Predator vibe of, oh no, you heard it, it's bleeding. And I'm going, if it bleeds, we could kill it.
Yeah, no, not that much blood.
No.
But they catch him, and then we get to the interrogation, which I think kind of gives Alan Tudyk room to kind of show his chops in a voice manner.
Yeah.
Is that he's, a different robot. He's showing more range than others, and as Will says, like, well, this is anger.
Yeah,
this is this,
and this is now become a meme. This interrogation scene, but this role of Sonny is what got him K2SO in Rogue One.
Okay,
because he is there on set. He is doing motion capture, very similar to what Andy Serkis did as Gollum. And this is just one of those progressions of showing how the technology has improved in motion capture and computer graphics.
Yep, and we get Chekhov's wink. Like, what is a wink?
Yeah.
What is its purpose?
Yeah.
Just put that aside. Don't forget about it.
Yeah. And Sonny is kind of showing human emotions or trying to grasp them very much like Data, but he does have them. We see anger, we see emotion, and then he talks about how he dreams.
Yes.
And this has to be a reference to Do Robots Dream of Electric Sheep,
which is an Asimov.
I believe, yeah.
Yeah.
And the original influence for Blade Runner.
Okay.
Yeah.
We move on into the bar with an Isaac robot and his twisty top beers.
Yes.
It's like, I have not seen a twist. I mean, maybe I've seen a twisty top beer at a Renfest, but
yeah.
But I had to note just things like the inflation, because when this podcast is recorded, we're going through a little bit of inflation right now.
It hurts a little.
But breakfast is $30 and 3 beers is $45.
Oh, and then they made a focus of showing how they paid for the beers, of just tapping something and paying for it. It's like, oh, pin and chip. Look at that.
Look,
we actually have that.
We do have that. We got one right.
All right.
But it's basically kind of doing that noir thing where someone says something innocuous and the detective goes like, wait, that means something. Breadcrumbs.
It's like, how do you, a detective who lives in the past, do not get the Hansel and Gretel breadcrumbs clue?
So,
but we get to James Cromwell's house, and he's going to investigate it, and he checks a robot outside that says it's scheduled for demolition in the morning.
Yes.
At 8 a.m. And when he goes inside, you think, oh, it's scheduled for demolition. It should be cleared out. No, this place is filled with art, pianos, furniture, a cat. And I'm going, 1, who did not clear out this house? 2, why would you demolish this house that is, this gorgeous house? This makes no sense to me.
I mean, it's like, I know it's all part of this corporate cover-up, but I almost it's like James Cromwell is barely cold.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we need the space. We need the space.
It's like, what, we need to put something else? It's like, no.
But it's like, the cat is funny because there's a scene where Will Smith grabs the cat and runs.
Yes.
And it is clearly a cat doll because anyone who's owned a cat's like, you cannot just pick up a cat with loud noises without getting your face turned, to Swiss cheese.
Exactly.
But it's like, it is the most hilarious cat doll kind of flailing around.
But it is the quintessential, the hero has to save the cat.
Yes.
Yeah. And I also bumped on, I know it's to show that the computers are against him, that it changes 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. But I'm going, it's computer language, it should be on a 24-hour clock.
But yeah, so he makes it out of the house. It was a big demolition, and he goes and he sees the woman, and it's like there's obviously something afoot, but everyone is still like, you're crazy.
Yeah, they say his prejudices are blinding him.
Right, which I do appreciate that it does work, because in a lot of movies you're like, well, clearly something's wrong, but people are like, no, this wouldn't happen. Look, we looked at the logs, you misread it. Or, no, you're the crazy one.
Yeah, we see later on that it's like, if there's no digital trace of it, it didn't happen, you're the one to be questioned. We have the hint of the new robots are going to get daily updates.
Yes.
And that's the plane. It's very much like everything's always listening.
Yes.
To you. It's your Alexa and your Google Home is another real thing that is happening. And as this is going on, we see that there's a mass distribution of these new robots, and Will Smith's grandmother, I think, Gigi, gets one. And though she gets one, I am surprised that Gigi did not give him crap about losing a pie plate in the beginning of the movie. Because I think any grandmother was like, I'll give you a pie, you give me a pie plate.
I also bumped out to go back, is like, I don't know any grandma who wouldn't scold you for eating out of the middle of the pie. What is wrong with you? That is not how a normal person goes for a pie piece.
And the fact that you have pie every day, I don't know how you have Will Smith's physique.
But I also it's like, as a design for future thing, I like the rolly ball trucks.
Oh, I do.
The rolly ball trucks, I'm like, look at them, they're turning sideways.
Well, yeah, the uniball of wheels, so no matter what direction you're going, the wheel is doing fine to prevent destruction is fine. So we get to this hot underground highway scene of the robots attacking Will Smith, and I thought this is the fear of the Tesla auto driving is they're going to turn on us.
Yes. Well, it's like, and they're evil robots because their eyes are red.
Oh yeah, and the eyes are a really neat theme. I don't know if theme, but a nice hint for the viewer, because later on when Sonny is supposed to be killed, we see the sequence going on. It's very dramatic, and then a robot dies, and those who are paying attention knows it's not Sonny, because Sonny has different eyes.
He has blue eyes.
And I really like that.
No. And so, he's fighting. It's very tense and dramatic. He crashes. And I have to say, airbags of this future suck.
I know, I wrote that too.
It's like, wow, you realize, I was like, I prefer the airbags of Demolition Man, the big foamy.
Yeah, the airbags went off after all the accidents. Now they go off.
Now, I had to laugh because in the very end, right before the police come, he's fighting with one of the robots who has one broken arm, and he grabs him by his legs. I'm like, I really want him to do a James Bond thigh squeeze, I have you.
Yeah. And this is the start of this movie's filming of action, which I do not like.
No.
Which is the spinning around, following the characters, but everything else is going in a vertical 360, and I do not like that.
No, and it's like, there is a dramatic shift from We Are Now Noir to, I'd say, this is now Bad Boys in the future.
Yeah.
Speaking of Will Smith. But we do get one of my favorite lines when, the police chief comes, sees all the accidents, is like, what are you doing? And, Will Smith goes the goddamn robots, John. It's just fun to say when someone says, why are you upset, to just yell, the goddamn robots, John.
It just adds to your daily vocabulary. It's great. And I love that when Will Smith is fixing his robot arm.
Skin in a can?
Skin in a can. It's an all-purpose spray.
It is. It's like well, why is there a product for doing this? But we learned that Sonny has a secret. He's got two brains.
Yes, and he can defy the three laws of robotics. He's also been made differently from all the others. There's something going on with him.
Yeah, and so we're getting talked. And the movie tries to make some sexual chemistry between, Dr. A-Type and Will Smith. And it's just, it does not work for me.
No.
She's clumsy, and it's like, yes, I know she's looking at his body, but it's like it just feels weird. Like this dynamic did not work as like, oh, you two have anything.
And anything, because we also learn what that opening drowning sequence is and why he has a robotic lung and arms. And it's like, it's very hard to flirt after saying, I watched a girl die and I hate robots because of seeing that.
But I do like this flashback scene and his explanation. Like, this stayed with me the longest, was that, no, the robot made a calculation and I had a better chance, and that's why it is. Like, that one stuck with me. Like, oh man, that hits hard.
Well, and this has been a concern with the self-driving cars of Tesla of they're trying to program that devil's arithmetic of, okay, I have a 20% chance of killing that old woman or a 40% chance of killing that young kid, but the kid has a longer life. What do you calculate? And you're going, a human wouldn't do that. A human would use instincts. Yeah. Sometimes it's wrong, but it lacks heart.
Yes. But, so then Dr. Calvin is on board now. She kind of believes that, no, there is something here. And she's like, we have to get there, but we can't trust all these things. We have to go at Old Tech. And they get on the bicycle. And she does the line that is like, also just kind of scratching my head. Like, this thing runs on gas. Gas explodes. I'm like, well, yeah, so do self-driving trucks. We saw a whole a scene about that. Things still explode.
If anyone's watched Top Gear or their following show of the Grand Tour, electric cars explode too. You know what I mean? And I think around this time, they during the flashback, they mentioned Harold Lloyd, no relation. I'm going, nothing but a very extreme film nerd knows who Harold Lloyd is.
I'm giving him a look like I don't know who Harold Lloyd is.
Harold Lloyd is on the equivalent of Charlie Chaplin.
Okay.
He is a quintessential silent movie era. So to have it blasé mentioned by Will Smith, I got it. But I was like, that is weird to have it just be mentioned offhand. And during that one point, we talked to Sonny, and there's a moment that I really like because it reminds me of another Isaac Asimov. And that's where Sonny mentioned that Will Smith's character called him someone, not something. And I liked that because we'll probably talk about it in years to come when we get to the Bees. For Bicentennial Man, it's my favorite scene in Bicentennial Man, where Robin Williams' character, who learns to have his individuality and is told, no, you're still a robot, he goes back to saying, I'm one, versus talking about himself as I am.
Yep, Bicentennial Man, another Asimov movie alongside the Foundation series.
Yes.
Are the other two. But yeah, no, I like that because we get Sonny talking about dreams, and he does a really quick sketch of like, this is what my dream looks like, and he kind of is foreshadowing things to come, and he leads the detective to what was Lake Michigan. And
is now a landfill. I feel that's a big problem if we lost Lake Michigan.
I do too, but it's like, part of me is like, well, with global climate change, like, we may not have Lake Michigan in the future, but we get this kind of prelude to the robot revolution where the new robots are seek and destroy, and the old robots are still programmed with we need to protect humans. And you have this kind of moment where Will Smith is having to rely on the old robots to keep him safe.
Yeah, it's that at best the analog versus the digital, because the old robots can't have that Wi-Fi update. And anyone who's had a phone that just bricked after the while, you kind of realize that sometimes old technology can help you.
But Dr. Calvin, also realizes way too late that her robot has turned evil because he didn't take the message correctly, and she tries to get out, and somehow Will Smith gets into her apartment with a submachine gun. It's like, where did you come from?
Yeah,
I appreciate a lot of things, but it's like, the front door was blocked by the robot. Where did you come from?
Yeah, and so now it's the robot uprising.
Yes, we are in the full-up robot revolution.
And we kind of glanced over a character because he is useless to this movie, but I feel like he was shoved in because he was becoming the new hotness, and that is Shia LaBeouf's character.
Shia LaBeouf.
And he is there to be a young... upstart, or just someone who's going to help fight the robots with a baseball bat. Because you're going to bring a baseball bat to a robot fight.
I have a feeling these robots could easily take the mob that was headed.
He is a useless character, but he's there.
Yeah. But yeah, and this is, I think, where you start getting a lot of the Will Smith action type. Is he's jumping off his motorcycle. We're getting the slow motion shooting. We're getting, punchy bang bang.
I think this is his last quote unquote good action films, because he was coming off of like Independence Day and all these other movies where he saved the world, and this is like, okay, you saved the world again, but we're kind of getting tired of it.
Right. It's like it only works so much. Yeah. But then we find out it was Vicky all along.
It was Vicky.
Yep. It wasn't the evil CEO. I mean, which, as MacGuffins go, I could see a lot of people being like, "Oh, I really thought it was the CEO."
I was tricked the first time I saw it. I thought it was the evil CEO. I thought, no, that has to be a man, but it's like, no. It was the AI, and it's playing off of another Asimov ideal of the zero law of robotics, which is the logical conclusion of the three laws of robotics have this kind of gap, and that the robots will eventually want to protect humanity from humanity.
It's like, you can't be trusted to be in your own self-interest, so we'll just take you out.
Yeah.
Nope, and we get a big old fight scene, on top of the scaffolding.
Yep. And we get, again, the 360 spinning.
There was a little bit too many 360 spins. Like, I'm getting a little dizzy.
And it's not, like I said, it's not the horizontal on the same plane. It is vertical, so it is really jarring.
And then, because it's an action movie, but we get a really bad one-liner from Will Smith where he says, "You've got to die." I'm like, really? That's the best the writers could come with? Like,
that's one of the worst hero clips I've ever heard.
I mean, I really was like, I'd have "You need a change of heart," or
it's like, "No, you broke the law," or something.
Yeah, something like. But it's like, oh, it sits in your mouth, and it's just like, ooh, that's not good.
Yeah, and we glanced over of Sonny's building by James Cromwell's character was specifically built to defeat Vicky. And I like at the end, Sonny had to put his hand through a field that he could survive, but other robots would just disintegrate. And later on, at the end, when Will Smith and they both succeed, they both have a hurt robotic arm to kind of show that they're kind of meeting halfway.
Okay.
But and then they shake hands.
They shake hands.
That's fist bump and all that stuff.
But then it's like, I want to talk real briefly about the ending. The robots are all thing, and they're all playing storage, and Sonny's up there on the hill. It's like, is this a dark ending? Is this a foreboding? Because I kind of took it as well, that's kind of ominous.
Yeah, it comes. I mean, we get the foreshadowing because this is the picture that Sonny drew, and this he's supposed to be their leader, their Messiah-esque character, but the music is downturned, and you're going to say, is this the start of a new race? Yeah. And I'm going, this didn't come out of nowhere, but I don't know if it was earned. Yeah.
Well, it doesn't have a punch, but it's. I mean, I have to appreciate it's not a happy ending.
No,
but it is also kind of like, were you expecting a sequel? I don't know. Yeah. But it's like it is like ooh, that's kind of it's like, do we trust Sonny with all these robots?
Yeah, with this new power. I mean, yes, these old robots will follow the three laws of robotics, but there are flaws to it.
Yes. So, and that is the movie.
Yeah. I enjoy it. It is a early 2000s sci-fi action film, and it is perfect for what it is, despite its product placement and its cheesiness. I do enjoy it. I would suggest watching it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is an early Will Smith on the rise film. I enjoy the noir parts better than the action parts, but I think as a future sci-fi, I think it does better than not.
Yeah.
It's not too cheesy. It's not too over the top.
But like I said, if there's something that you wanted to get a taste of Isaac Asimov that touches your heart, I would suggest Bicentennial Man.
Bicentennial Man is definitely the best of the Asimov.
I get choked up every time I watch that. But this is more action, and that's more drama.
And as I said before, if you have Apple TV, there is The Foundation.
Yeah.
Which is loosely...
loosely
based on his short story
trilogy. His trilogy novellas.
Yeah, and that's also fun. But I was looking over Asimov. I was like, man, there's not a lot of books that I have seen that is is in the mainstream. And I actually accidentally put that Minority Report was an Asimov. No, that's a Philip K. Dick, which Philip K. Dick is also very close to Asimov's future.
Yeah, that feeling, because he did Total Recall and things like that.
Right. But, Minority Report is also a good one because it's got...
It's a noir. It's Tom Cruise. It's
Yeah.
it's a mystery and the dangers of relying on future tech.
Right.
Yeah.
But we also have to rely on Tom Cruise because you want to know why?
Why?
Because our next movie's Jack Reacher.
Oh, I see what you did there.
I know. I haven't seen it, so I can't do a fun pun. But I do know Tom Cruise is in it.
Yes, so Jack Reacher based on the books. I enjoyed this movie. This was a suggestion from a friend who made me watch it, and I really did enjoy it. There is a TV series based off of it, but this is a fun one. I hope you watch it.
Yes, I will watch it because I will be going in blind, so we'll see how we all come out on the other side.
All right.
All right.
Well, thanks for listening.
All right, and you stay safe out there with those 3 laws.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
I love that it's not even the first few.
iRobot?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I, comma, robot.
Oh.
That's what makes it special.
I pause robot.
See, there it is. The comma makes the difference.
Okay.